Greetings, Algo artisans. We're going to talk about Wormhole and BABYDOGE today, and we're going to take a peek at Bitcoin just so we can get a feeling for where most of your altcoins are going to go next. So let's jump into the charts right now. Okay, so Wormhole has made a little news lately, including being launched on Nexo, but let's go ahead and take a look at the charts before we get into what Wormhole is and where it might go. Wormhole launched, in this case on KuCoin, on the 2nd of April, and it has ended up range-bound between basically 51 and 70 cents, right? So it's a nice range. That's a decent price for a token. Of course, we're going to take a look at the coin metrics in a minute to define what that really means. In the meantime, though, there's not a whole lot of data about Wormhole. It is a very interesting project, certainly, so we have to see if we can even get our brains around what the market cap and coin price could be. In the meantime, all we have is just a little bit of data from the launch that happened maybe a week or two ago, and we have to see where price got rejected when it tried to pop up as far as where it might do that again. And there's, again, not very much data. If I were looking at Wormhole, I probably wouldn't worry too much about these numbers, to be honest with you, because it is a relatively new project, and while the numbers could matter for a short-term trade, I think if a coin like this really gets adopted and takes off, I think these prices here might not quite matter so much. However, the numbers are 75 cents, 81 cents, and about $1.16. This is where price rejected as it was listed and tried to rally up and got sold off. Really initial super early price discovery that has occurred in the last 2-3 weeks, basically rotating around 60 cents. Okay, so that really is all there is to see in the charts. So let's go ahead and take a look at the project. So we do again have this news here with Wormhole launching on Nexo, and that might be why we're seeing the price really lift like it is in this the last day or two, last 24 hours. We saw price go really from 52 cents all the way up to 67 cents. And with that being the case, this is why we might, we could be a little excited about it. I mean, if it does break truly above 75 cents and stay there for more than 3 days, then I might think that price is going to head up. But I think at the time in the market that we're in, right, at this time in the market, we might not see anything happen because Bitcoin still is a little bit undecided. People are not sure if it is going to drop below 60,000 and whether or not it is going to head up post-halving. And most post-halvings so far do last roughly 9-10 weeks before we see any action, and so a lot of altcoins might just kind of hang out during that time. So let's take again a look at the project here, and we'll look at the tokenomics first. Okay, so here it is on CoinGecko. Wormhole 65 cents, up 18% in the last 24 hours. As to the market cap, this is $1.17 billion, and the diluted valuation is $6 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume is 280,000, so that is just a little over a quarter of the total market cap. Circulating supply 1.8 billion, so that explains the 65 cent price tag on it. Total supply is 10 billion. Circulating supply is roughly a fifth of the total supply. So if the total supply were to all of a sudden be dumped, then technically the price would be divided by roughly 6. So that's just that. We can take a look at the vesting period if I can find that data, but for now, this is what we're looking at. It's a brand new token. Usually there is a vesting period for such things. You can find Wormhole on Gate, OKX, Bybit, MexC, Binance, Bing, Backpack, KuCoin, just all your usual suspects, easy enough to find there. So this is the Wormhole website. Good looking website here. Hundreds of companies and applications use Wormhole's blockchain connectivity platform to securely and scalably grow their user base, increase market share, and drive more on-chain activity. Some of the groups it's working with, partnerships, if you will: Uniswap, Solana, Circle, Cosmos, some pretty big names, PancakeSwap, open source blockchain development platform connecting to the decentralized web. There's messaging, queries, connect, gateway. So basically we're talking about in-app bridging, right? This is cross-chain utility. It says Wormhole was the only unconditionally approved cross-chain protocol by Uniswap's Bridge Assessment Committee's security experts. Wormhole received the top rating after Uniswap's multi-month deep tech analysis of 6 messaging protocols. Wormhole was the only protocol approved without conditions for use in all cross-chain deployments by Uniswap's committee. Okay, so definitely high-level security, powers apps across Web3, blockchains, Injective, Solana, Sui, and Ethereum. DeFi, you got Frax, Synthetics, and Circle. Governance, Uniswap, Moonwell. You got Bridging, Carrier Portal, Albridge Core, Mayan Swap. There is a big focus on security with this coin. Obviously, somebody's pretty serious in the developer team because they raised $225 million, which is pretty darn good. It said the cross-chain protocol Wormhole raised $225 million investment at a valuation of $2.5 billion in November of 2023. So definitely some big money going in. And here on Twitter, they're saying some of the newest data that came out roughly an hour ago says Bitcoin is getting a programmable economic layer and Wormhole is your primary gateway to it. Building on Wormhole's multi-chain platform, Meso Network will have connectivity to 30 plus chains after going live with day one support, enabling secure and fast interoperability. And there's a whole thread to this, but essentially you want to take a look at Wormhole's Twitter to tell you, again, just a very simple explanation. They're the leading interoperability platform powering multi-chain applications and bridges at scale. You get the web of Web3. So again, to take a look at the tokenomics, I mean, it's really difficult to try to pin a number on this. When you're bridging other cryptocurrencies, your market cap really could be a fair portion of the entire cryptocurrency market cap, right? Which is in the trillions right now, I think 2 trillion. So even if it had 1/1000th of that, that's 2 billion. Already the market cap is half of that. So we have a project with a lot of investment. It's cross-chain. It's got high security. Uniswap trusts it already. It's under $1. And the total supply is 10 billion tokens, which is, not too small, but it's also small enough if you take my meaning. If each one of these tokens was worth $1, effectively you're at a $10 billion market cap if all tokens were circulating, right? That would actually be times 6 that, be at $6 if they didn't release these coins. I will do what I can to try to find out more about their vesting period in their tokenomics, and I will get back to you on another video with that, but I assume that there's just a period of time where a portion of the tokens are going to be there for development and a portion are going to be there for the team, and then they'll release them over the years. And most projects like this, especially when you have such a large investment, are going to have a pretty good vesting period that's going to try to protect the coin and still reward the early people and reward the team and stuff like that. So I will get into that, but for now, let's move on to BABYDOGE. Okay, so obviously we're now looking more into the meme coin space, and BABYDOGE is $0.00284. So obviously small price there, and that's fine. That's just what you can expect with these. Now, how big is the market cap? Right now, $300 million. That's pretty significant, but the circulating supply is 144 trillion coins, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously it's, you're to get to $1, you're talking about $1 trillion going into this coin, which actually you're talking about $140 trillion going into the coin. That's very unrealistic. When you got a total supply of 420 trillion, which 420 trillion does not seem coincidental. I think somebody's having a little fun there. So obviously this is a meme coin scenario where I think people are obviously going to hope that it does what Doge did. There is one bit of interesting data that's coming out from BABYDOGE right now, and it's that the price did surge 15% after new DAO proposal to eliminate transaction tax. So obviously they're making it cheaper and cheaper to use, right? Transaction tax goes down, and of course that's always going to help people be interested in the coin. And it was charging crypto traders 10% as transaction fees to enable the monthly burns in addition to funding its ecosystem. And the elimination of transaction tax will enable BABYDOGE to compete with other top tier meme coins in the confirmed crypto bull cycle. Now there is a new DAO proposal, and it will most likely go through, and it will not have the monthly burns. Right now, BABYDOGE burn address has around 51.5% of the total circulating supply, worth about 426 million. Actually, that's gone down. We just saw the circulating supply, but we know what that is. A little bit about the vesting here. The team announced it will be accessing the token vesting account with around 14.1% supply of BABYDOGE, worth about probably now closer to 100 million. The DAO proposal noted that the funds will be used for new team members to grow the ecosystem. That's what we have for token. Obviously, it's a meme coin, and they're pretty much just trying to compete by lowering their fees and establishing a DAO to dev. Now, who knows what can happen? A lot of times these coins end up being used in some kind of utility. We'll have to see how that plays out. But let's take a look at the chart. Okay, so here's BABYDOGE coin. Obviously made a splash back in 2023. Hit MexC in August of 22. Bottomed out at a 92.57 and made its way up to 45428. So that's going to be a times 5 back back in those days, if my math is correct. And then recently, as of February 2024, it bottomed out at 10,490 and made its way up to about 40K. So that's another times 4. And then it went all the way back down to 14,601. So this good lesson in taking profit, right? It had times 4 and it almost went all the way back down to where it was before. Not quite, but almost. Now, this is the large move in the last 3 days or so. Price went from 16.9 up to about 23.2. So that's going to be about 40%. That's a big move since that news article. And this is obviously going to be giving it some gas. However, until Bitcoin moves, I wouldn't expect to see any of these crazy rolls up. If Bitcoin does move upwards and continues to be bullish, then of course we might see these prices start to rocket back up and possibly reapproach this 40K high. Now, if I were in some kind of a trade and the market was rotating back to bullish rather than hanging out after the halving, and I mean the Bitcoin market, I probably would have taken a little profit right now had I been able to get this low price, because you have these structural areas that are blocking price from going up. So I would have been interested in taking profit now. If I didn't, or even if I did, the next place to take profit would probably be around 28,000, then say 36,000, but a little bit below that, and then maybe 39,000, right? And then maybe I would hold a small percent for a moon bag to see if this thing really keeps going up. Okay, again, you're talking about a pretty big market cap, $100 million. But you know, meme coins, you don't know. They can go to $1 billion. It's not unheard of. So that being the case, that would be about a times 10 from here. And times 10s are good. But again, it's a meme coin. It is what it is. This is all about the gambly for now, as far as I'm concerned. If they do decide to get some devs on this and do something bigger, that is always possible. Let's take a brief look at Bitcoin just to get a feel for the market. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. I had a short this morning, exited the short in the middle of our show, and that was perfect. I got out right at the deepest part of the short, so I had some nice profit. Price had dumped down. The algo pinged. You can see it on the screen here, but I actually saw that it was going to ping, and I took a little risk and got out a little bit deeper. I made some good money on it. Actually, I stayed in that thing all night, and that's just fine by me. Now we're looking at price possibly rotating back up. We'll see. Let's zoom out and take a look at the structure. It does seem here that price wants to at least rotate up on the 3 hour, but that means that it could simply go up to grab some liquidity. So we will take a brief look at liquidity if we can. I do expect for price to continue range, and it may range in the bottom half of this greater range, or it might pop up here. It really depends on what's going on. Now, the weekly algos are bearish. The daily are technically bearish, but they could actually flip and go bullish. So I think that what we're probably going to see with Bitcoin for the time being, for at least another few days, if not longer, would be price just rotating, and for now I'd say staying above 60,000. So price could simply just meander about perhaps below this halfway point in the range. Eventually though, if the algos do swing bullish, then we probably would see some kind of a move above the top of there and then possibly move back up to the top of the range. Now, as that happens, of course, we'll have to see how that goes. Right now, volatility is super low, right? Post having boredom, and it tends to go like that for oftentimes a number of weeks. This could happen, this could be boring for like another 8 weeks very easily. And now during that time, if Bitcoin were to range and we're not to go down below 60 and we're not to go above either this kind of 65 or this 72, and if Bitcoin continued to range with low volatility, then there is a good chance that the market feels that Bitcoin is stable where it is and will start to put money into altcoins, right? So the altcoin bags can move. Now, once Bitcoin is done being stable and decides to pop up, those alt bags actually can take a little bit of a hit as the money is sold to go into Bitcoin and profit is taken. However, over time, Bitcoin going up means altcoins going up. So for now, it does appear that volatility is dropping. Bitcoin does appear to be stable. And if it stays that way, we might see some alt games. But in the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and keep an eye on things. We'll keep looking at the videos, the popular coins, see who's doing what. Okay, so we'll just take a couple of moments and listen to some kind words from one of our clients who goes by ThinkFree, and then we'll be right back.
This is ThinkFree's Algo Factory testimonial. I began my prescription for Algo Factory the summer of 2023. I am now 70 years old, and I have set a goal to have a supplementary income by learning to trade. I have been putting in about 3 to 4 hours per week of study time. In spite of this small time of commitment, I am determined to learn to trade. I set a goal of slow, steady progress in my learning. It is now March of 2024, and I have been delighted that through the articulate speech and hands-on help and support from Cowboy, I have developed an algo that looks very promising. I've come to appreciate Cowboy's remarkable ability to communicate and teach. He's not just knowledgeable, but also very creative in his shoot-from-the-hips approach. I wonder, is that where the name cowboy came from? I have followed the Algo Cowboy and V the Guerrilla Economist for more than 3 years and have found them to be very respectful, caring, and firmly rooted in reality. By that I mean they have a clear, deep, no-nonsense understanding of the world we live in, not just in trading and economics, but geopolitically and, dare I say, spiritually as well. For me, this fact makes working with them all the more gratifying and secure. This has and continues to be a great investment of my time and money. Also ends up being fun with the humor that is shared amongst our Algo Factory group members. Thank you, Cowboy.
Now, don't forget to come over to Algo Factory, okay? AlgoFactory.tech. We help people build their own trading method. It's called an algorithm. It doesn't mean you have to compute a program or have it trade for you, although we can put you on that path as well. However, what you can do is build your own trading method. Test your own trading method. People do not understand the importance of the psychological aspect of building and testing their own method. It's going to allow you to be confident. And one of the biggest reasons that people lose in trading is because they lose a few in a row and they decide to quit. They stop using their system, whatever it might be. And they can do that with a perfectly good system. So the psychological game is incredibly important. So we teach you over at Algo Factory how to do all that stuff, algofactory.tech. Don't forget to trade your job, upgrade your life. We'll see you on the next one.